I'm Sarah McLaughlin, and I want to talk to you today about dogs that you don't own yet.
Jim.
Look at the picture. What?
No, we're not. That's a different video. We're not that one. No.
Is this the podcast?
This is the podcast one.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Break.
Podcast.
It's good to see everyone.
Podcast.
I'm in a much better place now. I'm all thrown off, man.
For those that don't know, it's Alan and Jim from Hustling Sideways.
What's up?
Every other Monday, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're giving you a little bonus again. We are talking this time about leadership.
Old wooden ship is leadership.
Yes,
so
leadership.
we wanted to, I think, leadership is a topic of, that I love, leadership development particularly, and about like people's leadership styles and what type of leader you are, what that means for the work you're doing, how that shifts based on like where, maybe you're a different leader in the household versus at work, etc. And I learned about this when I was like 16, what type of leader I was,
Right.
And so like there's like 4 leadership styles that I learned about: a socializer, thinker, relator, and director.
Okay.
So all very different, right?
I'm immediately trying to think which one I am.
You would be like a thinker.
Okay.
But you're
like
also
that.
a little bit of a director. Like you get stuff done.
Yeah.
That's like what, so I could see you being on both spectrums of that, which is great. And that's why we work really well together, because I'm not those things. So I was, when I was 16, I got put into socializer, where I'm just like the party
I can
people,
see that.
Et cetera,
I can see that.
Which was 1,000% spot on. But as time went on and I met people and I started to, become an adult, the relator part of me came out a lot more.
Okay.
And I took this test, I would say test, but I took this, this activity
assessment,
again, and I was totally a relator. And it's just interesting, like the part of me will always kind of want to get people to socialize and have a good time, and I like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm so much more like one-on-one now to make sure people are okay, and I found that, my management style is the same. Like if I feel like, if I had a call with a teammate on my team, and I was like, she just sounded like she was a little off, or like something,
right.
I'll just call her up like, hey, like, everything good? Like, let's chat. And I found that like that humanizes me in a way where like I obviously want to get stuff done, right? That's what leaders do. They get stuff done. But if you're not doing it with empathy and with compassion, like it's not going to work. And that's what I've always found. And the best leaders I've known have done that, where they can take their style and make sure it's part of like the culture of the team, and everyone feels comfortable and welcome and accepted. And then they feel like they're going to get more work done. If the more appreciated you are, the harder you're going to work.
Right.
That's what I've always found. So my style's kind of gone into that.
So you said I am the director one, and what's the other one?
Thinker.
The thinker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could very much see like you're analytical.
Yeah.
But like in your work world, like you get stuff done. When you plan that, like you're like you could take charge in a way where you're not like do this, do that.
Right.
That's what I assume people do.
I actually hammer fist every time.
But you can insert yourself because you're good at it, and people will follow your lead.
So I think that's only more recent that I've gotten the director part of it. I think the thinker part is always that's
always been you.
Has always been me. I've always been somebody with ideas and tried to think of the best logistical way to make things happen.
Totally.
I think that comes from producing things. The director part is definitely only within the last maybe year to 2 years that I've really kind of been like, okay, we're gonna make this happen.
Well, it's because you started directing a podcast.
Well, yes, I have this show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do the math in my head, but
but between producing this show, producing some other stuff, having I guess it's kind of a byproduct of the pandemic, really getting into a routine and being like, okay, this is getting done today. We're going to do these really setting those goals for myself.
Yeah.
Now it is at the point where I had a very big project for work, and I knew once it kind of came my way, okay, this is going to be the role that I kind of had to take, was to be the director, because we had done it previously and it kind of stalled a little bit. Yeah. And this time around I was like, no, we are making this happen. Totally. So that's where the director side of me came out.
Yeah, which is good, right? And I think as like leaders need to evolve and grow, and you're always going to have like a dominant hand if you're a righty or lefty, if you will. Yeah. So like the thinker is your dominant hand, but when that director comes out, it's got to come out, right? And then there's sometimes where like I'm not comfortable being a director, but I got to do it. Like I have to make stuff happen, and so like you really find ways to shift. But knowing what type of leaders you're working with is really important too, because like treating director in this way will help them out. Treating a thinker in this way will help them out. And there's different. I do a whole leadership activity with this, but I found like it's so impactful knowing your teammates and your boss and your your general colleagues of why they do what they do.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And then on that note, like thinking about some of the like, you know, good or bad leaders I've had, like the best leaders I can think of is people who I just, you know, work with now really, like are very, like they're funny, you know, they get stuff done. I respect them. They respect me, and they trust me to do the work.
Yes.
You know, like they're not looking over my shoulder or anything. Like they hired me for a reason. They know I want to do it, and they challenge me, but they advocate for me. And they have my back, right? So I know if I make a mistake, they're going to be like, it's okay. You know, I got your back. And that's how I try to lead too. I learned like from that example of, I felt empowered to do whatever I wanted to do and to be creative. And I like stepped out of this silo of like, if I mess up, you know, it's going to suck. Right. Like, and get into like, I can do what I want and really make something for myself.
Yeah. I think once you have that comfort is kind of, you know, that's kind of when you hit that sweet spot. Yeah. And that's when you do your best stuff, whatever it is. Like for me, it's content creation, but, you know, for you, you know, whatever it could be, I mean, you do your best work when you feel comfortable doing it.
Very much so.
You know, when you can be yourself and do it.
That's the main thing. If you're being yourself in it, and that's like my whole talk is about being authentic.
Yeah.
And I do it on stage. I'm like, this is me being authentic. So that's why, you know, the more you can feel like you're yourself in that task, the better off you're going to be.
Yeah. And I think even in my, you know, even running Breaking and Entering, running the music website that I run, so I have writers that contribute to the site. I have a music director that helps me out incredibly. Shout out to Ben. But I never want to be the person that has to really like give them stuff to do. So I'm very, very like laissez-faire about like, you know, like write about the, you know, right. I want people to write things, and I've actually said this before to them, you know, I want you to write about things that I know you're gonna enjoy writing about, you know, if good or bad. If you don't like the music, whatever, that's fine. But like, I want them to write about something that they enjoy writing about, that they're passionate about writing about, because if you just phone it in, I can see it. And I think that, you know, I've had that before where you get things and you know that it just doesn't look right, and you can, now that's where you would probably come in and be the socializer and say, hey, okay, I noticed this wasn't looking, you know, looking so great. What's going on here? Whereas I would be like, I think I would just think and marinate on it and be like, okay, well, I can't give you something that you're going to not enjoy, because it's going to obviously affect it.
People like
outcome.
Doing their passions. Also, when you said the laissez-faire style, all I'm thinking about is like, remember that E-Bombs World video back in the day? It's like, okay, fire the missile, but I'm late tired. Take a nap. Send fires the missile.
Yes.
Look that video up. It's the end of the world. It's so, that was like in 2001.
That's very early internet, but it's out there. Yeah. But I think on the flip side of that too, that is when I am the best as an employee, is when I, like I said, I'm comfortable, but when I'm also doing stuff that I know, you know, certain projects, if I get passionate about it, it just lights a fire under me and I go, you know, and I can sense it in myself when I'm working on something that I'm like, okay, I really don't need to be doing this much effort, like, to be very honest, but I'm like, I know that, you know, this is something I really like. I want it to turn out well. Off to the races with it immediately.
No, that's
you know?
good. That's good. And anytime you can match up someone with what they're passionate about is a you know, an important step, really about leading people. You know, I mean, if you can, and of course there's going to be some monotonous stuff that people don't want to do regardless of who the person is. But if you're like, you seem really interested in this, I want to put you in that situation where you can have an experience in it. That's important. And, you know, I've had, you know, I'm thinking about like bad leaders I've worked for, is, you know, people who micromanage and you know, didn't trust me to get work done. And I was just kind of like I got put on like kind of like intern, you know, roles at like anybody, like I was stuffing envelopes, you know, like random stuff anybody should be able to do. And I was, you know, like a professional. It's just like those types of things where I didn't see value in it, nor did they like do it with me. It'd be one thing if like we accomplished this together, like serving leadership, but it was just like, take this, you know, I don't really want to. And it turns out.
So that's kind of thinking about, not to say bad leadership roles, but like roles where I've been in a very similar of like micromanaged or whatever it may be. I think about stuff that like, you know, when you would work really hard on something that is the tedious thing. Yeah. And you would turn it in. And in my case, a lot of what I do is with newer things, with social media, with marketing, with whatever, you know, whoever it may be, and turning it into somebody, and then they maybe don't really know what you actually have done. That to me is like the worst feeling as an employee.
That sucks. Yeah.
Because when you turn something in and you're like, I put my heart and soul into this, or it was a project that you're passionate about. Yeah. And the person that is supposed to like review it or okay it, maybe is a little disassociated with it and doesn't really know the meat of what's going on, but they just know the end goal.
Yeah.
That is the worst feeling is when you turn that in and then you can tell when you talk to that person.
Yeah. They're like, oh, okay. Like,
great.
What's this?
And they don't know what
just worked for a week and a half on that. So yeah. I'm
so
with you.
I've always told myself if I get to that point as a leader, as a manager for my site or whatever, whatever it may be, if I get to that point where I'm that disassociated, where I don't really know, I'm not connected to whatever is going on in that sense.
Yeah.
Then it's time to find something else.
Exactly. And it's all about people, right?
Yeah.
Like if you can make sure you're in lockstep with them, in tune with what they want, know what their needs are, challenge them, right, to reach their potential, but advocate for them and have their back. That's when people are going to work well, and then you could be at the top making strategy decisions, and but it's like one family. I mean, that's really what I found. Like, you have to be in it together, and like you also have to have fun too. Like,
yes,
I can't go the whole day talking business. No way. Like, I made about 19 jokes today over chats. It's just like, we're gonna do this. We got to enjoy it,
absolutely.
And I like to think I'm funny. Let you all be the judge of that.
Okay.
But it's it humanizes you a little bit and it makes the work more fun for everyone. You spend so much godforsaken time with these people, right?
Right.
You better make sure you enjoy it.
Absolutely. Well, we hope you enjoyed this.
Yes. I forgot about them.
Yes.
Hope you all enjoyed it.
We hope you enjoyed this. If you want to listen to more of us, you can do that by checking out the Hustling Sideways podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We also have an email. If you have a side hustle and you want to be on this show talking with us, you can do that at hustlingsideways@gmail.com. Jim, I learned about myself just doing this.
Yes.
I learned what kind of leader I am.
I know I like self-diagnosed it and told you what you are, but nonetheless,
but now I know.
I believe that's what you are.
Now I know. Yes. So go be a leader and make sure you check out Hustling Sideways
and keep on hustling. Every day I'm hustling.